Rotary spreaders are an effective tool in turf and ornamentals management, both on the commercial and consumer levels. And with proper calibration, the spreader will prevent overdosing or underdosing, conditions which could lead to excessive product application, lack of pest control, damaged plants, or even costly fines. Nursery workers, landscapers, and homeowners need to know these simple calibration processes and basic math in order to have accurate dispensing of materials. We'll be performing the calibration in a simple scaled-down version so that you can use proportions to match your situation. The first thing you need to do is determine the effective swath width. In other words, how wide is the path that your material is being evenly spread. An easy way to do this is to spread out an odd number of catch trays or pans at 2-foot intervals. These collection pans should all be the same size, 1 or 2 inches deep, and with an area of at least 1 square foot. Most pie pans don't meet this last specification, but are used in this program for demonstration purposes only. Box lids are preferable. Also, be certain to take all necessary precautions for personal protection. Unlike calibrating spray equipment, you'll need to use the actual product, pesticide or fertilizer granule, when conducting a spreader calibration. Run the spreader with the gate open over the top of the center pan in a perpendicular manner. You may need to do this several times to get a good representation sample. Make sure you approach the pans from the same direction each time. Then, using a funnel, gather all the material from each individual pan into a series of jars, or even the individual segments of a large-sized pillbox. Obviously, this pillbox must never be used for anything other than pesticides. You should be able to see the pattern, with the center pan catching the most, and each subsequent pan to either side tapering off evenly. Look for the pans that have captured half as much as the center, and this represents your effective swath. Once you know the distance between the pans at either end of the swath, you'll be able to determine the effective width, in this case, 8 feet. Because it's difficult to produce a completely even spread with rotary spreaders, it's usually best to make 2 passes over a treatment area. Therefore, we'll base the calibration on applying half of the product's listed label rate. Calibrating to the full label rate and making 2 passes on an application would lead to a double dose of product. Weigh out enough product to load the spreader for a calibration test over a distance of 1,000 square feet. With a swath width of 8 feet, our calibration distance should be 125 feet. 1,000 divided by 8 equals 125. Due to the limitations of space, our test will take place over a course measured at 62.5 feet. We'll conduct 1 pass with the gate open, close the gate to turn around, then make another pass to our starting point for a total of 125 feet. Now, take and weigh the remaining portion of the material that is left from the spreader. Subtracting that total from the starting weight will give you the application rate for 1,000 square feet. Remember, because we're making 2 passes in application, our total should only be half of the desired label rate, give or take 10%. Let's look at an example. You want to calibrate your rotary spreader to apply insecticide granules at the labeled rate of 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Because you'll calibrate the spreader to deliver 1/2 the labeled rate, your goal is to apply 1.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. With an effective swath width of 8 feet, you'll need to travel 125 feet to accomplish your calibration test area of 1,000 square feet. You decide to put 4 pounds of product into the spreader before the test. And after running the test course, the remaining product weighs 1.5 pounds. The calibration application rate is therefore 2.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Adjust the spreader by reducing the gate opening and performing another calibration test until the rate falls within the desired rate. In this case, that would be roughly 1.4 to 1.7 pounds. While this may require multiple calibration tests, The results are essential to proper dispensing of materials. If the label states a target application rate per acre, multiply the amount from the 1,000-foot calibration course by 43.56 to arrive at your per acre rate. For example, if the herbicide you're going to apply calls for a label rate of 80 pounds per acre, and the calibration application rate is 2.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet as previously measured, then your calibrated output is 108.9 pounds per acre. This amount far exceeds the 40 pounds per acre goal, so the spreader gate opening will need to be reduced accordingly, and the spreader recalibrated. After the rotary spreader is properly calibrated to the desired label application rate, there are two ways to make the application. The first is the right angle method. Space your passes at the effective swath width, covering the area properly. Then make a second series of passes, also at the effective swath width, but at a right angle or perpendicular set of passes to the original series. The second method for application would be the half-width method. Use parallel passes at half of the measured swath width. For example, in our calibration, we determined the spreader to have an 8-foot swath. For the half-width method, each pass would only be separated by 4 feet. Remember that consistency is the key. Your calibration results are only appropriate for the product that you're applying, as well as the speed of travel and the height at which you hold the spreader handles. At first, calibration of a rotary spreader may seem complicated. However, as you can see, when you apply the proper materials at the correct rate, you'll not only have great results, but you'll save time and money too.